Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of celebrities who have landed themselves behind bars. Once protected by fame and fortune, these stars are now facing the harsh reality of their actions. From minor missteps to major scandals, let's take a look at who's doing time and why. James Beck Gordon was born on July 14, 1945, and died on March 13, 2023. He was one of the most exceptional studio drummers in the history of American rock and pop music. With a career spanning from the late 1960s to the early 1970s, Gordon left an indelible mark through a series of classic recordings alongside top artists such as Eric Clapton, the Beach Boys, George Harrison, and many others. At the peak of his career, Gordon was so busy that he flew back and forth between Los Angeles and Las Vegas daily to attend recording sessions and live performances. His talent was praised by Eric Clapton himself. When people say Jim Gordon is the greatest rock and roll drummer who ever lived, I think it's true. However, behind the glamour, Gordon was silently battling his inner demons. His life is remembered not only for his musical genius, but also for a horrific scandal: the murder of his own mother in 1983, an event that marked the downfall of a genius due to an undiagnosed mental illness. From the early 1970s, Gordon began showing signs of psychological instability. He heard voices in his head, including that of his mother, Osa Marie Gordon, which prevented him from sleeping, eating normally, or focusing on his music. Initial doctors misdiagnosed him with alcoholism instead of recognizing that he suffered from schizophrenia, a severe mental disorder. The lack of understanding about mental health at the time pushed Gordon into a spiral of self-destruction. The climax of the tragedy occurred on June 3, 1983, at his mother's home in North Hollywood. In a psychotic episode, Gordon, then 37, attacked his 71-year-old mother, Osa Marie Gordon, with a hammer before stabbing her with a butcher knife. He told police that a voice had commanded him to do it. Following the incident, Gordon was arrested and eventually diagnosed with schizophrenia, a diagnosis that came too late to prevent the tragedy. At his 1984 trial, Gordon admitted to his crime, but California law at the time did not allow him to use an insanity defense due to changes in the Federal Mental Defense Reform Act. Instead, he was sentenced to 16 years to life in prison for second-degree murder. In prison, Gordon continued to struggle with schizophrenia, frequently refusing medication and psychological counseling, leading parole boards to repeatedly deny his release, deeming him a danger to society. Gordon passed away on March 13, 2023, at the California Medical Facility in Vacaville, age 77, after nearly 40 years in prison. The cause of death was reported as natural, though an official conclusion from investigators is still pending. Gordon's story raises questions about society's responsibility to identify and treat mental illness, as well as how we perceive those who once stood at the pinnacle of success only to fall into the abyss. For many, he remains not just a great drummer, but also a symbol of a vibrant yet deeply wounded era of music. Zach Avery, whose real name is Zachary Joseph Horowitz, is an American actor infamous not for his talent, but for orchestrating the largest Ponzi scheme in Hollywood history. Born in 1986 in California to a Jewish family, he grew up in Indiana after his parents' divorce. After college, he met his wife Mallory, attempted a failed juice shop business called Fuel in Chicago, and used a fake email from Starbucks' CEO to convince her to move to Los Angeles in 2011. In Hollywood, under the stage name Zach Avery, he took on minor roles in low-budget films like Curvature in 2017, Last Moment of Clarity in 2020, and a brief appearance in Fury in 2014, but was widely criticized as the worst actor. In 2013, he co-founded One and MM Productions to produce horror and sci-fi films, yet his acting career never took off, paving the way for his infamous financial scandal. Alongside his lackluster acting career, Avery embarked on an ambitious and illegal financial scheme. Starting around 2014, he used 1MM Capital LLC to lure investors with promises of buying film distribution rights and reselling them to platforms like HBO and Netflix, particularly in Latin America. He pitched it as a safe investment with up to 40% returns, claiming success with 49 films, including Active Measures and Lucia's Grace. In reality, it was all a lie. He had no deals with HBO or Netflix and ran a classic Ponzi scheme, using new investors' money to pay old ones while funding his lavish lifestyle. Over 5 years, Avery raised over $690 million from more than 200 investors, including childhood friends and close acquaintances. He spent the money extravagantly: a $5.7 million Beverlywood mansion, $700 to $6,000 on interior design, and a $605,000 collection of Mercedes-Benz and Audi cars. By late 2019, his scheme unraveled as he couldn't keep up payments, blaming HBO and Netflix for non-payment. The truth soon emerged. On April 6, 2021, the FBI raided his Los Angeles home and arrested him for wire fraud. Investigations revealed he failed to repay $227 million to victims. In October 2021, Avery pleaded guilty to securities fraud, and on February 14, 2022, he was sentenced to 20 years in prison and ordered to pay $230.3 million in restitution. The scandal destroyed his career and personal life. Mallory filed for divorce before his sentencing, ending their college-era relationship. His Bolton Road home was auctioned, luxury assets seized, and his acting legacy erased from Hollywood. Avery's case is considered one of Hollywood's biggest Ponzi schemes, not just for its financial scale, but for exploiting the film industry's allure to deceive victims. Once aspiring to be a silver screen star, Avery is now remembered as a terrible actor, both on-screen and off, a fraud who performed to conceal his crimes. His story is retold in Amazon MGM Studios' 2024 documentary, Hollywood Ending, a cautionary tale of greed and vanity in Tinseltown's glamorous world. Celebrities involved in scandals like fraud or violence often shatter the perfect image they've crafted, disappointing the public. Fame offers no immunity from accountability. The law and integrity remain the ultimate benchmarks.